Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Christine Lee with Seize the Market, and welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to talk about what does it mean, guilty until innocent. Oh my, that sounds a little harsh, don't you think? Well, perhaps not. And so that is in the context of when it comes to building a team, working with somebody, having a business relationship. Okay. And so there's three things I'm going to go over with you today is one, being guardian of the gate, two, collecting evidence, and three, break the model. Yes, smash it to pieces. So let me go through that piece by piece, and you can see how it can add value to the process of being in a business relationship with somebody, whether it means you're hiring somebody or having somebody as a partner, or who knows, exploring opportunities. So start with guardian of the gate. Are you treating your business as if it were a precious gem, as if it was something that is worth protecting? Or are you just being too easy, right? I mean, are you going on a first date and then popping the question with the ring and then wondering why it doesn't work out? When you think about it, when you go into a business relationship with somebody, short-term or long-term, you're spending a lot of time with them. You're pouring energy into that person in some shape or fashion. And so when you're doing that and you're having to have those daily interactions, well, guess what? When you look at the time clocked and the hours spent with that person, you're probably spending equal or more time during the week with people in your business than you are at home. And so think of it as a work marriage. And so you have also a work family. Now, the cool thing about a work family is that you get to choose your family. This is like your chosen family versus your birth ones, which you had very minimal choice on. And so you can choose who to be in a relationship with. You can choose to do business deals with somebody or not. You can choose to cut a check and hire that person and pay their salary or not. It is completely up to you, 100% in your control. That's the beautiful part. So how are you guarding your gates? How are you letting somebody in to your business family world? Okay. Meaning, is it, hey, love at first sight? Ta-da, here you go. Will you marry me in business? Yes. Boom. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Oh my gosh, something didn't work out. And being caught off guard. Or are you going through an actual process? Are you going into discovery? Are you going on multiple dates before you pop the questions? And what are you doing on those dates? Are you really staying in curiosity and out of judgment? And what I mean by that is out of judgment means both good and bad, right? So judgment on the positive side is, oh my gosh, I love you. Yes. Why wouldn't we do this without any real evidence? And then there's the other part where it's like, no, I don't like you. And, you're judging them for no reason. And it's a no. So either way, it is a rush to judgment if you do it without due process and diligence. So, what does your guardian system look like? Who's guarding it? Are you guarding it? Or do you have systems, process, strategies, models guarding it? And how is that working for you? And so I just want to share with you, as you really start getting clarity on who you want to be in business with, I mean, you're gonna, at least, let me share this with you. On my team, we got to the point where we had so many hoops to jump through. By the time you made it to the end, it's like, whoo, I know you wanted that real bad, okay? And with each hoop, with each step, with each conversation, we're getting into a deeper relationship with that individual and seeing if we connect or not. Because a lot of people will fall by the wayside during those steps, and it's intended that way, right? You don't want to have to marry a bunch of toads to get the prince. You want to filter them out and be left with the prince in your process so that you don't go through all the damages that come about bringing the wrong person onto your team. And that's what I mean by guilty until proven innocent. You're not opening your doors to anybody who can fog a mirror and say, yes, come on in. And it's like this open shop, this revolving door is what it results in. You are literally saying, this is precious domain. I'm going to protect it. And I'm only letting you in if you are worthy, right? I know that may sound a little bit haughty, but I mean, that's the mentality of it. You are guardian of your gate. Now, as you build your team, what's cool is that if you have people that are in true alignment with your vision for the team and you picked the right people, man, they become guardians of your gate. Okay. And in my experience, they're like better guardians than I were. Cause I'd be like, are you sure about that? Wasn't it okay? They're like, no. I was like, Okay, if you say so. You guys are the ones that are going to have to live with them day in and day out. So who am I to say? So it comes to that point, which is really, really cool. And so if you're you right now, and if you just started the journey of building your team, then you are the guardian. What are you guarding? What do you want it to look like? Get clarity on that. So that's the first point is, hey, what do you have? And the guardians can be in the form of people, process, technology, filter, jump through hoops after hoops after hoops. And those, again, it's not hoops just to create hoops. Each hoop has a particular reason and a particular, purpose to it. And again, this has been developed over just ongoing learning moments, shall I put it at that, and also existing proven systems and models that are out there, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But again, let the concept of being a guardian of your domain, of your business, treating it like a precious entity, treating it like a marriage proposal where you don't just pop the question on the first date. Think about that and how precious that space is for your business and what it does for you, in business and therefore in your personal life. All right, number 2 is that let there be evidence. So again, going on the tone of guilty until proven innocent, being more in like that legal space if you have to prove something. What is the evidence that you've been able to gather, that you've been able to collect to say, hey, they are awesome because they are a great fit, because they fit with me from a vision and culture standpoint, because, right? Because when you actually look at it from a, I have to gather evidence standpoint, then it becomes a, wow, I actually have to get some actual facts, and I have to ask questions and I have to find out some stuff aside from, wow, I seem to get along with them. Yes, I like their energy. Like the surface level stuff, it really puts you in a position where you have to now dig deeper. And the questions you ask, the process you go through becomes much more in depth than if you were just saying, hey, it feels good. Because here's the thing, if you are the rainmaker or the owner or the main person that's driving the business, you're all about building relationships, right? You are designed to like people. So when you come across the person, your natural default is to like them. And you like them whether they're a good fit or not. And that is one of your key strengths when it comes to building relationships and connecting with people, but it is not going to serve you that well when it comes to hiring the people and filtering them out, because that is like almost opposite to your natural inclination. So again, know yourself and your behavioral style. And I'm just talking in terms of stereotypes here, because the behavioral styles is a whole different conversation. But again, know that about yourself and say, okay, I need to actually have evidence. And collecting the evidence can be from conversations that's powerful and deep, and finding out more about their hopes, dreams, and goals, their past track record, their passions as an individual, as a business person, and just kind of going through a whole process. Again, believe it or not, there's existing systems, process, and models for you to be able to go into discovery where you can collect evidence that's going to support either yes or no, perhaps a maybe. If it's a maybe, you need to dig deeper. And so what evidence do you have? If you had to convince a judge on that person being a great candidate for that particular position, would the judge be like, done, clear, go for it. You have an abundance of evidence for me. Without a doubt, I feel confident in moving forward with this person. Or would it be like, that's pretty sketch. That's not strong at all. Actually, it's downright weak. You don't have any evidence. All you have is it feels right. That is not cool. And so if you had to support your case with some evidence, what would it say? Would it be enough? And then the third thing is, let's say you think you have enough evidence, and let's say even past the judge, so to speak, but as part of that judging process, I want to say break the model. See if you can smash it to pieces, meaning, does that person pass the stress test? So let's say, okay, everything looks hunky-dory, and let's say, you convince yourself that there's enough evidence. Then ask yourself the question, okay, what are some scenarios that I didn't look at? What are things that could prove me in the wrong? What are some things that I missed? What are questions that I didn't ask that I should have, right? What are some red flag evidence of things that maybe I ignored, that I kind of turned my cheek to, just to really support the evidence that I wanted, And so really look at yourself and say, okay, if I really had to put this through the rigorous process of trying to kick this person out, right? So we're playing break the model. Your purpose is to break this evidence, to poke holes in it and see what would make it not work. And so you're playing devil's advocate on purpose, because that forces you to see it and look at it from the other perspective, because you might be in like, oh my gosh, I love this person shiny mode. Or it might be from, oh my gosh, I need somebody like right now, yesterday. So anybody who comes along that's decent, I'm going to, in my head, trick myself and say that they are amazing to justify getting a breath of fresh air in the terms of having somebody to help me. But that is a very short-term solution. It's instant gratification with no long-term gain. If anything, it could be huge long-term losses and pain and agony and you never wanting to go through that process ever again. Yeah, it gets pretty bad. And people have lost literally millions of dollars, millions upon millions, because of making the wrong hire and ignoring the red flags. And the interesting thing is that when you look back on a bad hire, you always can find, you're like, man, there was that red flag I totally ignored. It was like glaring at me in the face, and I like refused to look at it. I wanted to look at the good. I wanted to go ahead and complete the hiring process and like convince myself that I was on the right track and I had marked this off my things of to do to take my business to the next level. I was so eager to do that this glaring red flag was pushed off to the side, and I totally fooled myself. And your brain plays all sorts of tricks on you, your brain, your emotion, everything. It's going to just see what it wants to see. If you don't have the right protective mechanisms, the right strategies, the right process and models in place to help protect you from you, help protect you from other bad decisions. So as a recap, guilty until proven innocent means that you must do your diligence in making sure that you have the right person without fail. And one, look at your business as if you need guardians of the gate, if it's you or if it's not you, who is guarding it. Two, collect evidence of that, both in terms of who they are as a person, personally, professionally, and ask the right questions. Dig deep, ask the questions that aren't normally asked, and stay in curiosity and out of judgment. And three, as the final kind of shebang, the final crunch test, right? I kind of relate it to, have you ever seen the documentary where they show you how they make the like a US dollar and all the things that they put it through? There's this one final crunch test that they have on the dollar bill after they come up with a new design or a new swirly or sparkly thing on the paper. They have this little cylinder about that big, and they literally shove it in there, roll the dollar up, shove it in there, and then they just crunch it. And whatever is going to like fall off or start flaking off the piece of paper, that pretty much digs out of there. I mean, that's like the final crunch test. So that's what I mean by break the model, put it like under the stress test, meaning if you need somebody who's like super awesome in operations, you're like, okay, is there evidence of them rocking it out in a high-paced, stressful environment that's going to lead me to believe that they can also do that in our environment? Again, assuming that that's what you're looking for. Worst case scenario, when, just crap blows up, is this person going to be able to handle it? And is there any evidence of it? If there's challenges with people, or that person really has to manage a lot of people, and that there's some maneuvering of personalities and just the way you're talking to people or negotiating or whatever it may be, are those skill sets at par with where you want? And can it be taken to the next level? The stress test might be, yes, they might suffice for now, but can they take it the next year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, however far you want to take it? Do they have room to grow? Do they have that type of capacity? Have they shown that type of capacity? Do I want evidence now that they can do that next level stuff? Or do I want to be okay with hoping that they have it? So those are some things that can, break the model, meaning the model was, hey, it might have been for a current position, but now you're breaking it because you want to stretch it further. And again, that's just a matter of you thinking a bit more long-term, because it's really easy to find something that fits now, or it's much easier to find something that fits now. But if you find something that fits now and can grow with you in the future, that is a much more efficient game plan, because all the time that you have invested with that person and all the knowledge and experience that they can carry through, you don't want to have to go through that like every, a year or two. I mean, that's like stopping the train, taking it backwards a little bit, and then having to get it back up and going. And when it comes to a train and starting its momentum back up, it's like chug, 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 chug. It's the same thing in business when it comes to having to step back when it comes to talent in your business or a process or whatever. That momentum that you have to build back up takes time, effort, and energy. So it is not worth it to just let anybody in the door. They are guilty until proven innocent. Collect the evidence, be guardian of your business, and break the model. If they still pass, then by all means, let them in and let the wedding bells ring. Right? All right. Thanks so much. I hope that helps. And when it all boils down to it, the whole concept of being able to bring talent onto your team, there's existing systems, models, process, strategies, like exact verbiage, word for word, step by step, that's in existence. If you don't want to reinvent the wheel and you want to get great quality team members on your team and have the best practices to execute now with certainty and all the details that go along with it, step by step, we should talk. Don't reinvent the wheel, and don't make a bad hire, because that will make you just want to cry in a corner and weep for days. So do the right thing for your business. Let's chat. Go to seizethemarket.com/talk and book a time so that we can have an honest conversation on where you're at now, where you want to be, and how to close that gap. Again, that's seizethemarket.com/talk. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.